My secret girlfriend sent me a text message on the down low. Mom is pushing for marriage again. I was in the middle of living it up at a club, so I fired back a careless reply. You go ahead and get married first then. The result? By that evening, social media had absolutely exploded. The headline was everywhere. A-list superstar Sienna Blake's marriage proposal rejected. Dumped on the spot. When I first got Sienna's message, I was going wild on the dance floor. To my left, a leggy stunner was making eyes at me. To my right, a cute girl in a crop top was reaching out her hand. Just as I was debating whose invitation to accept, my phone started buzzing at the absolute worst time. I frowned and ignored it, but the phone started seizing up like it was having a medical emergency. Violent vibrations. People around me started giving me weird looks, probably thinking I had brought some unsavory toy into the club. I quickly pulled out the phone to prove my innocence. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw the preview on the lock screen. Babe, Mama's on my case about marriage again. Seeing that message, I froze for a second. Before I could reply, a slender hand reached over. Hey, handsome, are you here alone? Distracted, I thumbed out a quick reply. You go ahead and get married first then. I've been in a secret relationship with Sienna Blake for 3 years. She had always been gentle and considerate, practically obeying my every whim in our private life. She was gorgeous, had a killer body, and was basically what everyone would call the perfect wife. Aside from the fact that we rarely got to see each other, she was flawless. Message sent, I lost myself in the music again. Naturally, I chased the other women away. Looking was fine, but touching? I had a jealous drama queen at home. I couldn't risk it. When I finally got tired and went back to my VIP booth, I remembered to check if Sienna had replied. She hadn't. Instead, a barrage of news alerts filled my screen. Hashtag Sienna Blake dumped, hashtag Sienna Blake mystery boyfriend, hashtag you get married first scumbag. 3 hashtags were burning bright red at the top of the trending list. I swear, I had no idea Sienna was live streaming at the time. For the next 2 hours, I watched helplessly as the heat kept rising. LMAO, I never thought our Oscar winner would have such a pathetic moment. I'm dying to know who this mystery boyfriend is. Just found out she was dating today, and found out she's single on the same day. RIP. I scrolled through the comments, my face draining of color. Stop roasting me. Stop commenting. If this keeps blowing up, I'm a dead man. Just then my phone pinged. A text. Where are you? 2 words. But I could feel the rage radiating through the screen. I gulped, looked up at the flashing neon lights of the club, and replied with a guilty conscience. Home. As soon as I hit send, I grabbed my jacket and bolted. If I run fast enough, maybe no one will know I was at the club tonight. I tried to comfort myself with that thought. But the moment I sprinted out the club entrance, I saw a familiar red Ferrari parked right at the curb. As I burst out the door, the window rolled down automatically, revealing a familiar pair of eyes. Usually, they were tender. Right now, they held a depth I couldn't read. Her phone screen was still glowing on her dashboard. What a coincidence. Out for a good time, caught red-handed. I pulled my hat down, trying to play the stranger. But before I could flee, the car lurched forward, blocking my path. Her cool voice cut through the air. Running? Get in the car. We're going home. Her tone was calm, but I heard the tsunami hidden beneath it. I swallowed hard and quietly gave myself a pep talk. Little Chase, looks like you're going to have to take one for the team tonight. I obediently sat in the passenger seat. Sienna leaned over to help me buckle my seatbelt. As she moved across me, I caught a glimpse of fair skin beneath her coat. Sure enough, she had changed her outfit. I opened the glove compartment, grabbed a handful of the herbal energy supplements I kept there, and shoved them into my mouth. The only sound in the car was my chewing. I couldn't help but steal glances at her. She had swapped her work gown for casual shorts. Her legs, sheathed in sheer black stockings, looked even more alluring under the ambient interior lighting. Thinking about the fun those legs brought me, I felt my face flush. Why did you say that? Say what? I didn't react immediately. Then I saw her phone and remembered the text disaster. After a moment of hesitation, I decided to come clean. You know my family situation. I want to make something of myself before we get married. My father had 3 children. I was the youngest. My 2 older brothers were already established. One was a university professor. The other had a solid foothold in government. I was the only one who didn't follow the family plan after college. I took my savings and started an esports club, but I hadn't achieved any real results yet. My dad had given me an ultimatum. If I didn't have anything to show for it by next year, I had to come home and inherit the family corporation. If I chose to marry now, my dad would force me to quit and take over the billion-dollar empire immediately. I looked up at Sienna, but her expression was grim. She didn't say a word the rest of the way. When we got back to my penthouse, I nervously proposed, "How about you wait for me for 2 more years? No, 1 year. I'll make it up to you, I promise." It sounded scummy, even to my own ears, but I honestly couldn't think of a better solution. Sienna remained silent, but she seemed even more annoyed than before. She dropped her coat and headed upstairs. I thought about it and followed her. Sienna, just as I walked into the bedroom, slam, the door shut behind us. I turned to look. Sienna's enchanting eyes were burning with a mix of anger and desire. Sienna, before I could finish, a scorching kiss cut me off. Her jacket fell away, revealing the flight attendant uniform underneath. Everything happened naturally. Afterward, Sienna lay in my arms. Chase, you're getting old. You're not the warrior you used to be. Her tone was gentle, but the words were a dagger to my heart. How could I tolerate that? She was challenging my dignity as a man. I gave her a playful smack, and we went for round two. But a man has to admit when he's aging. I used to be a machine, capable of going all night without a break. Now, I climb a few stairs, and I'm winded. Exhausted, I fell into a deep sleep. When I woke up, it was already broad daylight. Sienna was nowhere to be seen. Feeling parched, I got up to get some water from the kitchen. That's when I accidentally overheard Sienna on the phone. Really? Okay, set up a time. I'll meet him. Don't worry. If he's handsome enough, I might just give myself to him on the spot. What the hell? Am I getting cheated on? Is some soap opera plot becoming my reality? Damn it. I clenched my fist, ready to storm in. But my hand stopped just as it touched the door handle. No, there's an old saying. Catch the thief with the loot, catch the cheater in the bed. If I go in now without proof, I won't get the truth. Thinking this, I snuck back into the bedroom and pretended I was still asleep. Chase. A moment later, Sienna walked in and patted me awake. I'm going out for a bit. You stay here and be good. I rubbed my eyes, feigning drowsiness. Where are you going? Take me with you. I'm bored alone. Sienna rejected me without a second thought. I'm going with my girlfriends to get a facial. It's a no man allowed zone. Fine. I acted indifferent on the surface, but inside, I was cursing up a storm. Sienna Blake, if I find out I'll make sure you never want to get married. Sienna sat at her vanity, dolling herself up. I frowned. Why do you need full makeup for a facial? Sienna hummed a non-answer, saying men wouldn't understand. My heart grew colder. I tried to wake up her memories of our love. Sienna, do you remember the first time we met? She paused. Of course. Sometimes I wonder, if we hadn't gotten together back then, what would life be like? I met Sienna through gaming. I played AD carry. She played support. We were an online duo for 3 years before we met in person. I fell for her at first sight. Not for any noble reason. I'm superficial, and she was stunning. Prettier than any woman I'd ever seen. Because we chatted for 3 years, there was no awkwardness. We clicked instantly. She looked like a high-maintenance diva, but she had the heart of a goofball. Back then, I was insecure, assuming a woman like her had guys lining up around the block. When it was time to leave, I stammered and asked if she had a boyfriend. Sienna smiled mischievously, then nodded firmly. Of course I do. My heart plummeted from heaven to hell. Smack! A second later, a soft kiss landed on my cheek. Isn't it you? My boyfriend of 3 years. Sienna naturally linked her arm through mine, looking up at me with smiling eyes. My heart rocketed back up to heaven. Later, we acted like a normal couple. We traveled, went shopping, hung out. In our second year, I made a serious promise to her. Sienna Blake, I will definitely marry you. After that day, she moved in with me. We've been happy for years, barely fighting. She never brought up marriage before this. I thought we had an unspoken understanding. She hadn't told her family about me because dating would hurt her career, and I wanted to build my own empire before tying the knot. Smack! A kiss on my cheek snapped me back to the present. All right, I'm leaving. The sound of Sienna's high heels clicking away faded. I shot up from the bed, grabbed my jacket, and followed. At the complex gate, I saw her red sports car peeling away. I hailed a cab and tailed her. The sports car eventually stopped in front of a high-end private club. She was lying. I cursed under my breath. Said she was getting a facial with friends, but actually sneaking off to meet a boy toy. Sienna, you've got some nerve. As Sienna walked in, a tall man in a suit greeted her. They walked in side by side. The man turned to talk to her, smiling. He looked familiar. I think he was Julian Ford, a famous investor in the circle. I put on a mask and snuck in after them. I spotted Sienna and Julian sitting in a booth by the window, 2 coffees on the table. I didn't know what they were discussing, but they both looked happy. Sienna was even laughing and shrugging. Damn it, I can't take this. I started storming over, but halfway there I froze. My parents were there. Crap. I instantly turned into a turtle, hunching over and fleeing into the bathroom. Hiding in a stall, my heart was pounding. Why were Mom and Dad here? Did they see me? If they found out their son had a secret girlfriend of 4 years and was currently catching her on a date, I'd be the laughingstock of the family. I waited for what felt like forever. Once I was sure my parents were gone, I slipped out. Sienna and Julian had already left. I pulled out my phone to call Sienna and confront her, but my finger hovered over the dial button. If she really wants to break up, wouldn't this call just destroy the last bit of dignity? And if we were breaking up, I should be the one to say it. While I was agonizing over it, my phone rang. "Boss, you need to come to the office." I took a cab to the esports center downtown. The receptionist girl ran up to me excitedly. "Boss, we recruited a beast for the team today." I took the file. Rank 1 challenger on the Korean server, Pro AD carry. This was exactly the top-tier player I needed. My team's biggest weakness was the AD carry. With his slot filled and some team bonding, we could definitely place at the World Championship this year. And the receptionist leaned in and whispered, "This player recommended a support, so we hired him too." She handed me another file. BBlue. Interesting ID. Just as I was about to ask about his skills, a cheer erupted from the training room. I rushed in and saw a young kid in the gaming chair, fingers flying across the keyboard. On the screen, his Draven was slaughtering everyone, leading the team to an easy victory. I nodded in satisfaction. All that was left was a jungler. I remembered my contact had a good jungler. If we couldn't recruit one, I'd borrow him. While I was contemplating the roster, the main doors opened. "Hello, do you have an appointment?" "I'm looking for your boss." Hearing that voice, my body stiffened. I turned around in disbelief and saw two familiar faces. "Dad? Mom? What are you doing here?" Dad huffed, clearly annoyed. "Well, if the son won't come to see the father has to come see the son." "Oh, stop it. You were just saying how much you missed him. Now you're scolding him." Mom pinched Dad's waist. I gave him a tour. Dad looked at the group of young kids sitting in front of computers, playing strange games and frowned. "What kind of future is this?" "Dad, esports is a legitimate industry now. A world championship title is a huge deal." I pointed to the players reviewing their match. "Don't let their age fool you. They are top-tier athletes with dreams, climbing one mountain after another. I believe that if we persist, one day the world will hear their voices." Dad just scoffed at my grand speech. Clearly, he didn't buy it. "All right, stop making that face," Mom intervened. "Son, we came today for 2 reasons. 1, to see you. 2, we found a match for you. You need to go meet her in a few days." I knew it. They never just came to visit. "I won't." The refusal got stuck in my throat. I nodded instead. "Okay." The moment I nodded, Dad's tense face relaxed, and Mom beamed, patting my hand. "That's my boy. The girl comes from a good background, very dignified. You'll definitely like her." After my parents left, I buried myself in work. I lost track of time until late at night. I checked my phone. Sienna had sent a bunch of messages. "Babe, I'm a bit busy today. Can't have dinner with you. Off work yet? Why aren't you replying? I'm downstairs at your office." My eyes locked on the last message. Sent an hour ago. I jolted and called her immediately. She picked up instantly, her signature cool voice coming through. "Off work." For some reason, just hearing her voice made half my exhaustion vanish. "I'm coming down now." I hung up, grabbed my coat, and ran downstairs. Sienna's car was parked by the curb. I got in. "Why are you bundled up like a ninja?" she asked. "Am I that shameful to be seen with?" I pulled off my mask and tossed it on the console. "It's always been like this. You're a public figure. We have to be careful. Didn't you say you were busy today? How'd you have time to pick me up?" I asked. Sienna started the engine, heading toward our home. My boyfriend was in a bad mood, so I hurried up and finished early. I froze. How did she know? I hadn't said anything. Sienna glanced at me in the rearview mirror. She knew me too well. One look, and she could guess my thoughts. "There are only 2 reasons you don't reply to me. You're asleep, or you're upset. Since you were at work, sleep is unlikely. That leaves one option." She said it so naturally. My heart warmed, and I teased. "Why didn't you assume I was just too busy?" Sienna looked at me like I was an idiot. "How often do you check your phone?" "Okay, fair point. It's basically glued to my hand." "Hot pot or barbecue?" she asked suddenly. She was always like this, never prying, just choosing to be there for me. She knew I'd tell her when I was ready. The city blurred past the window. The car was quiet again, but something was growing in my chest. "Where did you go today?" I asked. Sienna's grip on the steering wheel tightened slightly. "Nothing much. Got a facial, shot a commercial." "Oh, I didn't push it." Silence returned, but my heart sank back into suspicion. After that day, I poured everything into work. Maybe luck was on my side. Within a month, I secured the Korean players. My roster was complete. Top, Shy Guy mid, Rookie jungle, Nitro at E, J Love support, BBlue. They didn't disappoint. They crushed the group stages and qualified for the World Championship. That evening, Sienna came to pick me up as usual. I was scrolling through my phone in the passenger seat. Ring ring. It was Mom. Hello, Mom. Did you forget something important? Her scolding tone came through the speaker. I suddenly remembered. Today was the day I promised to go home for the blind date. Come home now, the girl is... Hello, Mom. Signal is bad. Gotta go. I hung up in a panic and looked guiltily at Sienna. I looked up right into her amused eyes. She didn't ask who called, just tapped the steering wheel lightly. Blind date. My throat tightened. No way. Mom just wants me home for dinner. Oh, Sienna's tone was teasing, the corners of her mouth twitching upward. Should I drop you off? No. No need. I shook my head frantically. So, are we still doing dinner? She seemed to have realized something and was pressing me. I feigned calm. Yeah, of course. Hot Pot, that place you like. Sienna raised an eyebrow and didn't ask further. But she stepped on the gas, driving straight toward my parents' gated community. My heart stopped. I was about to speak when she cut in. Actually, you'll have to wait a bit. I have a blind date tonight. The words hit me like an ice pick. I forced a smile. Oh, who's the lucky guy getting a date with the Sienna Blake? Sienna watched the road, sounding relaxed. An industry veteran introduced us. He's an investor, wealthy family, self-made entrepreneur. My mom is pushing for it too. Seeing her look so happy about it, my chest tightened. Julian Ford's face popped into my mind again. Jealousy burned my throat. That's great. Stable. Unlike me, playing games with a bunch of kids. No future. The sarcasm sounded bitter even to me. Sienna laughed, glancing sideways with a mischievous glint in her eyes. What? Is Chase Sterling jealous? Me? Jealous? Please. I stiffened my neck. Sienna didn't speak. When we reached the gate of my parents' estate, she suddenly said, Go on up. I won't walk you in. I need to prep for my date. I opened the door, legs heavy as lead. After 2 steps, I looked back. She was looking down at her phone. I gritted my teeth and couldn't help asking, Sienna, you and Julian, what is going on? She looked up, grinning wickedly. I thought you'd never ask. We are business partners. Nothing else. But Mr. Sterling, stalking people isn't very gentlemanly. My face burned. Who stalked you? I just happened to be at that club. The sports car roared away. I stood there, heart aching. When I got inside, Mom was waiting in the living room. She jumped up. Finally, she's been waiting forever. Come meet her. Mom, I'm not doing this. I have a girlfriend. Mom paused. You have a girlfriend? Where? Why haven't you told us? She's famous. We can't go public. I took a deep breath. Mom, stop asking. I'll bring her home before New Year's. I couldn't hold back anymore. I grabbed the car keys and ran out. Screw the career, screw the team, screw making a name for myself. I just wanted Sienna. I wanted to bring her home, out in the open. I sprinted outside and saw a tall figure leaning against the car. The headlights of the red Ferrari illuminated her curves. It was Sienna. She hadn't left. She was just watching me, eyes full of laughter and a tenderness I finally understood. I stopped, the panic replaced by warmth. You walked over fast. You didn't go to the date. She straightened up, poking my chest. I am on the date. With my blind date. She extended a hand. Let's reintroduce ourselves. I'm Sienna Blaka. I'm your match for tonight. I shook her hand, brain short-circuiting. Then Mom ran out, seeing us holding hands, grinning ear to ear. You brat. Now do you know how good your wife is? Mom. Sienna walked over and linked arms with my mother affectionately. I was totally lost. Sienna couldn't hold it in anymore and burst out laughing. You think your mom would just set you up with random people? This was all a setup by me and her. Mom scoffed. You're allowed to lie to your mother, but I can't prank my son? She patted my shoulder. Sienna is a wonderful girl. She's thoughtful and always thinking of you. I accepted this daughter-in-law 3 years ago. My head was buzzing. Mom yawned. You think your parents are stupid? That we don't care about your life? We've been watching everything you do. Sometimes your dad's harsh words aren't what he means. He just wants to motivate you. I stood frozen, connecting the dots. Every time I snuck Sienna over, Mom coincidentally came back for shopping. When I complained about Dad hating esports, he'd ask about the team a few days later. The encounter at the club wasn't an accident. Mom had followed Sienna there on purpose. Sienna took my hand, her eyes soft. I know you wanted to succeed before going public, but I didn't want to be a secret anymore. Chase, a girl's youth is short. I couldn't wait. Mom added, Sienna is more mature than you. She knew you had too much pride and were stressed, so she asked Julian to help recruit talent for your team secretly, just so you wouldn't worry. My throat was tight. I looked at Sienna. Her eyes were red, but she was smiling. Chase, I never wanted the glory of your success. I wanted to stand by you openly through the highs and lows. Now, do you dare to take me home? I pulled her into a hug, voice choking. Hell yes. I've been ready for years. Dad walked out from somewhere. I don't understand esports, but seeing you fight for the team and seeing Sienna give so much for you, I believe you can make it. We Sterlings don't hesitate. If you're going to do it, burn the boats. Succeed or die trying. The night breeze felt warm. I held Sienna's hand as we walked into the house. Mom had soup ready. Dad actually asked about the team strategy. All the hiding and testing was nothing compared to the love of family and a partner who chooses you. The rest was like a fairy tale. My team crushed everyone, storming into the global finals and sweeping the series 3-0 to take the championship. On the podium, I lifted the trophy and shouted Sienna's name. The internet went wild. No more scumbag hashtags. Just hashtag sweetest love hashtag esports own superstar. On our wedding day, Mom held Sienna's hand and cried. Dad patted my shoulder. Kid, you have a lot to learn. Responsibility, sharing. Remember, a mature man is never arrogant. The aisle was paved with rose petals. Sienna walked toward me in white, stepping through the light. When we exchanged rings, the officiant joked, Mr. Sterling once said, you get married first, which almost got him canceled. Anything to say to the bride now? I held her hand tight, voice steady. I used to think I needed to conquer the world before I could marry you. I forgot that you never wanted the glory, just the company. For the rest of my life, my honor is half yours, and I'll shield you from every storm. No more secrets. Applause thundered, eyes filled with tears. Married life was mundane and sweet. I was still busy with the team, but I never ignored her. Every weekend, we went grocery shopping, saw movies, or I played a few games with her. A year later, our child was born. The story ends here, but our happy life as a family of 3 has just begun. Story complete.